Okay, so this is a quick tutorial on how to rig some shoes for Sansa. Um, this is starting with the default female avatar full, I think, and importing the FBX version from their website. If you import it, it'll have these broken fingers. That needs to be fixed first. Quickest way, select your armature. On the top left, go to pose mode, select all with A, and then Alt and R, and just click off, and that's done. So once you've gone that far, that's all sorted. I'll swap to my other one because I've already done it. So you need to get the shoes into Blender. I've made some quick boots. They're not pretty, they're just boxes, but it should work for pretty much anything that's similar. Smaller shoes would work as well. This is to auto rig. You can manually do it, but this is a quick way. It should work most of the time. First things we've got to do is select the bones. On the right hand side there's a little person in green. You want to click that and you want to go to viewport display and then just click in front. It just means we can see things a bit easier. Makes them easier to see. I have my bones set to octahedral. Just find it's easier to see. You can also switch on the names so you can see the names of them. You don't really need to. We won't worry about it. First things first, we need to get them in position. For me it's pretty easy because I built these using the avatar. Just do your best to line them up in edit mode, whichever you need to do. So moving them left and right. Just line them up how they should fit. And you're going to want to make sure they're just showing just a small amount below the green line, green axis. You can go just a little bit above, but you need to make sure the feet are not poking through. So just a smidge, ever so slightly below the green line. Should be within the ABB sort of like bounding limits. Okay, so once you've lined them all up, you need to apply all transforms. If you've got a mirror modifier, you will need to apply that first, because I'm pretty sure that might mess with your origin point, and then yeah, it should be okay because they're mirrored. It should be fine. But we need both of the meshes here to do this, so you need to apply your mirror modifier, I think. I've just cleared them there from when I was experimenting. So first things first, you need to select the shoes and join them as a single object. Mine are already joined. So if you've got two separate objects, you just need to control J, I think, and then join them together. Mine's come up with an error because I've got a single object. I think you can also right click and join. So I'll just test that out quickly. So if we've got two, shift select both your objects. Yeah, you can right click and join. So I won't do that because I don't need them. So they must be a single object, I believe. It might not be. Someone will probably correct me. Okay, so first thing we need to do, select our boots, and then shift select our armature, so that's the skeleton. Right click to parent, and we want to go to armature deform. So once that's done, on the boots themselves it should have given you an armature modifier. That's fine. Okay, so next step, you need the mesh to do this from. So that's why we've got the one with the mesh and not the blank one. I think it would work with the low poly. I'm not sure. I'm just using the full one. So we need to select our mesh, then our boots, not have the skeleton selected. On the top left, you need to go to weight paint. Once we're in weight paint, on the top left again it says weights. You want to then click transfer weights. So you get this little box that comes up. Data type needs to be vertex groups. Tick create data needs to be on. Nearest vertex usually works. And I don't think these really need to do anything. Next we need to do our source layer. Needs to be by name. It might say active layer. This needs to say all layers, replace, and one. So you should now be able to go onto the little green vertex groups. And I'll just swap to that one so we can see it a bit better. And you now should be able to just scroll up using the up arrow, ignore my box coming up there, and it should, there we go, have auto weighted for us. So it's done the ball, the ankle, and the left knee. So if you were to do these manually, you would have to paint these yourself. That one you probably don't need, that could be fully ankle. But that should be it. That should now be fully weighted and parented to the skeleton. Quickest way to check this is to select our skeleton, go to pose mode, grab one of the bones, so we'll just grab the right knee and we'll rotate it and the boot should move with it. It should move with the mesh. Nice and easy. So we'll cancel that, go back into object mode. Okay, now to export, nice and easily, if you've set up your materials in Blender, you can select a different option. So you just want to select your boots, shift select the armature, file, export, FBX, and find wherever you need to. If you've got your materials in, you can click match, and that will then take all your materials you've set up. You want to have selected objects ticked. This on your one will probably be fully blue. You don't have to change this, in all honesty, it's fine. Make sure you've got selected objects and you've got both your boots and your armature selected. Do not apply any kind of rotation or scale to your armature, only apply it to your boots. So I just make sure I've got them selected. Hang on. Let's close out of that. So we'll just double check this. The boots themselves must have a scale of 1, rotations of 0, and the locations must all be 0. If they're not, Control A, all transforms. Do not do this to the skeleton, it will break it. So we'll scan boots, skeleton, file, export, FBX, path mode, match, selected objects, that'll probably all be blue. If using the FBX, you want -Z forward, Y up, and you want apply transforms ticked. So I'm just going to save V2 into the same folder. So I created a folder. That's where it is. Click export. Now load into Sansar. We'll just give it a minute. Hopefully we load up. It doesn't crash. Go Sansar. Here we go. So we want to give it a chat. Create on the left with the wand. Style my avatar. Now, if you've used a female skeleton, you need to import with a female avatar. I think it's something to do with how it automatically changes things, but we'll just go into this one. If it's a male avatar like my one, just select female on the side there. This is fine. So we'll just go to clothing, because it's a clothing item. It will not work in the accessories slot. They do not accept rigged items. So in the clothing slot, press import, browse, go to your boots, shoes, or whatever. This is where you need to do your material setup if you haven't done it in Blender. We won't worry about an inventory image. We'll just click import. Just give it a moment to convert. So I've not got any materials in mind. It's all going to just be defaults. And adding to inventory. You may get an error here. It may say something like out of AABB bounds, doesn't include skeleton, things like that. But we'll just make sure, as these ones have worked straight away, they've come in, we'll just remove them fluffy boots. There we go. Nice and quickly. So they're sticking a little bit out the back of the legs, but that can be fixed with resizing the boots themselves. We'll just quickly check that they're actually rigged. We'll do a dance. There we go. Nice and simple. So if you get the AABB error, that can usually be either because you haven't applied your transforms. So all transforms, you just make sure everything's 0. They could be out of the AABB box. So I don't have my one in here, which I probably should have done. Let's just bring that in. Avatar item box. Here we go. So this is the avatar item bounding box, which we're currently limited to. If your boots were below this, that would have thrown that error. So you have to make sure they're within this. The other thing it could have been is if you did not click apply transforms. This must be ticked for clothing items. You may have also had either rogue geometry, like a random vertex, or your selected objects was not ticked and you've brought other things in as well, because it would have brought in everything in your scene. You only wanted to bring in the boots themselves and the skeleton. Okay, thanks for watching, hope that helped. See how that goes.